My name is Jamie Luce and Brandon is my son. Alright, Brandon was 4 years old. He started having leg pain. It was probably in January of 2004. I started taking him to local doctors, the emergency room. No one could find anything. They actually told us it was in his head and he needed to see a psychiatrist. And we knew something was wrong, just in our gut. We knew something was wrong with him. So after fighting with doctors in our area, we had blood work done, x-rays, bone scans. I took him up to Hershey to the ER and they couldn't find anything, but they had given me the name of the pediatric rehab center and the number to call them the next day. So I called, and the nurse that answered the phone, her name was Cindy Riker, and she was the first person that listened to what we were saying. She had an appointment scheduled with Dr. Groh for the following week, and when we went up, we took everything that we had with us. He ran other tests, and he told us to hope he has leukemia, which is when I picked him up and I left. And the next day we had to go to pediatric oncology, and he had a bone marrow biopsy done, and they told us he didn't have leukemia, which I thought was great. And then they told us he had neuroblastoma, which was not great. That was worse. The survival rates are way lower than what leukemia is. April 9th we started chemo of 2004. We did 6 rounds of chemo. He did a stem cell harvest, surgery to remove the original tumor and some lymph nodes. He had a stem cell transplant, 17 rounds of radiation. We were quarantined for 100 days where he wasn't supposed to go anywhere. Every once in a while we would take him to family's house. Then he did 6 rounds of Accutane, which is the most awful medication ever. It turned him into his evil twin, I guess. And then July of 2005, we were told he was in no evidence of disease, which is like remission, but for his cancer, they don't call it remission. So he was normal from July of 2005 to April of 2006. It was actually to the date he relapsed, and we only found out because he had a skateboarding accident, and that's when we found the tumor that had started growing again. And then January of 2007 we were told to go to Philly because the medication he was getting at Hershey was hurting him more than helping him. So we went there and we talked to Dr. Maris. He had started a phase 1 trial. Brandon was the first kid to try it. He was on that for 2 months, and all that did was gave the cancer time to grow. So we did, it's called MIBG therapy, where we were put in a lead room and radiation was injected directly into his bloodstream. We did 2 rounds of that, and then after that, the tumors were gone, but he had less than 2% of cancer in his bone marrow. So they kept giving him other trials to hopefully cure the cancer, but just control it if they couldn't cure it. We did 3 more after that, 3 more different trials, and none of them worked. So Dr. Maris had said, he gave us our choice. We can stay coming there or we can go back to Hershey full time. So we went back to Hershey and they did several types of chemo just for palliative care to just control it. He was put on hospice in April of 2008 for pain management because he was starting to have a lot of pain. He got to go to Camp Can-Do in August. One day of 4th grade, And then October 2nd of 2008, we found out his liver was failing. He was awake up until October 5th. That's when he went to sleep. He would still wake up, but he just slept most of the day. His favorite nurse, Melissa, came over. That was the last time he was awake. Before I went to sleep that night, I told him it's okay. If he's tired, he can go. That will be okay. We're not giving up on him. I went to sleep around 3 in the morning, and his dad woke up around, he was getting ready to leave about 5:30. And sometime between the time I went to sleep and Craig woke up, Brandon was gone. And that was the next part of my life.
So, how debilitating is it to watch your kid go through something like this, like cancer?
It's horrible because you're his mom or his dad and you're supposed to be able to fix everything for them, and you can't.
How often do you still think of him?
Every day. He told me his 7th birthday party was his best. We couldn't go anywhere because he was in treatment, and his sister and brother and his sister's friends made a scavenger hunt out back for him and his cousins. That was his birthday party. He said that was his best one.
What was something that he had missed in his life when he had cancer?
He missed going to kindergarten. He was going with his cousin. They're the same age. So he skipped kindergarten. He told them he's too smart to go to kindergarten. He's going to 1st grade. When he got to go to school, and he played baseball in 2007, and he missed a tournament that his team was in because he had to have a treatment down at Philly.
So, like, generally speaking, would you call Brandon a normal kid? Was he a normal kid?
Yes.
What was he passionate about?
Football.
What did he want to be when he grew up?
He wanted to be the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you think he could have achieved that?
Yeah.
Do you have any football-related stories?
He would play football out in the backyard. He's the youngest kid in the neighborhood, and he was very short. So the older kids, they listened to whatever he told them. Like, he made them run drills and made them run back and forth out back. On the baseball field, he'd make them run around the bases for their training, and they would listen. For whatever reason, they just listened to what he said.
Do you have any idea why that is?
No, I don't know. He's just a special kid.
Did he have a certain time when he was like, I want to be the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, did he have
I think he wanted that from birth. He was playing football from the time he could hold a ball till the day before he died. He was playing football. He skateboarded at a year old. He was on a skateboard. His brothers bought him one for his birthday. So he was just a normal kid.
So, how specifically did the Four Diamonds Fund help you and your family, Brandon?
It helped us financially. It helped us emotionally. It kept him busy at the hospital with activities for him to do. They had movies, TVs, little DVD players, just things to keep the kids doing things. And that was inpatient and outpatient.
What do they provide for everybody?
Financial and emotional support for the whole family. When you're inpatient, they provided us meal passes so the parents or brothers and sisters, whoever was there, could go down and get food from the cafeteria without having to pay for it, which was a huge help when you're in the hospital for weeks at a time. Every child diagnosed at Hershey with cancer is automatically put into the Four Diamonds Fund. They're automatically a Four Diamonds family.
What was one specific time that you were really gracious for the fact that the fund existed?
He was doing chemo at home, and the medicine cup I was using had a crack in it, and I didn't realize it until the chemo was on my table. And I wasn't sure, what to do. I didn't want him to miss a dose of medication. So I called his nurse at home, talked to her, and she told me she would talk to the Four Diamonds the next day. And she called me and said that they had the medication in the pharmacy. I can go up and pick it up. When I got there and I picked it up, for some reason the slip was still in the bag, and I think it was just not meant to be put in because I've never seen a bill. But it was like an $800 medication, and that was for 5 mLs of medication. Like 1 teaspoon of medication was $800, and if they wouldn't have covered it, he would have missed that dose because there's no way we could have afforded $800. I don't know what I would have done without it. I know I would be paying hospital bills for him for the rest of my life, and my kids would probably be paying for the rest of theirs. It would be like a stab in the heart every month getting that bill. And it's true, it does happen. I know families who lost kids that weren't fortunate enough to have the Four Diamonds that get that bill every month, and they have to make a payment for a child they don't have.
Have you made any friends from the people in the fund?
Yeah, we have a lot of friends. Brandon's favorite nurse, Melissa, she's still in contact with us. He actually called her his stepmom. Whenever he seen her, that was his stepmom, and her husband was his stepdad. And the other families, I think the other families are more my family than my actual family, because they understand what we've done and where we've been. And our family, they try to understand, but they didn't live here, so they don't know everything.
Rather than giving a number, can you give words that describe how much it saved you?
Probably the cost of a house, and a big house, not the house I live in, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of a house. I can't give an exact amount because we never seen a bill.
Why should anybody donate to the Four Diamonds and not somewhere else?
Before Brandon got sick, I didn't even know the Four Diamonds Fund existed, which is why I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. And people ask, where should I donate money? And the first thing that comes into my mind is Four Diamonds, because I know it helps people. I know where the money goes. I know it stays local. It helps families from our area. And it's like the best thing ever.
Why is it good that so many kids are contributing to thons or mini-thons?
Well, it just shows you guys care about helping other kids. And, Brandon would be 17, so he would be your guys' age. He would be a senior in high school this year. Well, this upcoming year, he would be a senior, and I would want him doing the same thing. It's kids helping kids, and hopefully one day you won't have to do this, or because there will be a cure from what you guys are doing now. Hopefully I see it, that it happens in my lifetime, because it's just not a good thing. It's not fun.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much help does the fund give to a struggling cancer patient?
I would go with a 12.
Is the fund good?
Yes, it's incredible. It's just the best. Again, if it wasn't for the fund, we would not be living in our house. I'd be paying for a child I don't have. Probably have to ride bike to work. because I wouldn't be able to afford a car, because my car payment would actually be hospital bill payments. And you know, my older kids wouldn't have been able to do what they've done. Even just going out and having fun, you know, going bowling or something wouldn't have been something that they'd have been able to do.
Lastly, Brandon had a wish box. No one was allowed to look inside. When he passed away, we looked in to see what his wishes were. There were 3 slips of paper. The first wish was to marry Sophie, his 3rd grade sweetheart. His second wish for all his pain to go away, and on October 6, 2008, when he earned his angel wings, that wish came true. His 3rd wish is something with all of your help we come closer to every day, and that wish is to find a cure for all cancer.